Hello, welcome back to the Root Network. My name is Pastor Archie Collins. I'm the senior pastor here at World Changers Church Houston, and glad to be with you on today and glad you're back with us. Today we're talking about mastering manhood. Does calling the shots make you a leader? So great topic. I'm looking forward to getting into it. I have a guest with me here today. His name is Troy YURCHAK. He's a member here at World Changers Church Houston, also as my brother-in-law. So he's going to be talking with us about his perspective on what it means to be a leader, and does calling the shots make you a leader. So Troy, welcome. Thanks for being with us on today.
Grateful to be here.
All right, awesome. Well, first of all, just about a leader. Tell me to you, what is a leader?
Well, I mean, they have the graphic that everybody's seen where there's the group of people pulling something, and there's a person on top of the burden with getting people to go, and then there's the person in the front calling people.
Yeah.
And I think that a leader is definitely the person that is. You mentioned something when you were talking to Inyang about that you've done as a leader. You've done, and you won't ask anything from anybody that you haven't already accomplished or are doing. And I think that right there will be it's a good example of what a leader is.
Yeah. And to your point, I like what you said about a person who, with the imagery about pulling and pushing. I remember looking at one flow chart back in the secular world when I was a manager, and they showed this chart of where normally leaders are on the top and like a pyramid, and the people are on the bottom. And then they said the proper way for that to be is when you flip that upside down, and then you have the leader on the bottom and the people on top. I think a simple way I've heard being a leader over the years is a leader is a servant. A leader is one who has been called or picked out to help meet the needs of others. And we're all leaders in different parts of our lives, no matter who you are. But today we're focusing on more so the family, the family unit, the family institution. And traditionally, at least in America, the way the home model is often set up is that the man is the leader and he is on top, and everyone else is there to help, his life be better. I think about these things I used to see when I was younger, where, the woman's at home and she's cooking and the kids are home and they're quiet, and everything is about, how is dad, does dad have what he needs to eat? Does dad have his comfy chair to sit in? Yeah. Does dad have all that he needs? And not saying there's anything wrong with that, but if you take that to the extreme, it can get a little dangerous.
Absolutely. And I think that you have those scriptures in Ephesians 5 where it talks about the healthy relationship between a man and a woman. And there's the part where everybody knows the scripture, wives, submit to your husbands out of reverence for Christ. And then you also have husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. That whole section starts with submit to one another. Yep. And I think that when you said that, almost anybody can be a leader, absolutely. If you can serve, you can be a leader.
Yep.
And Jesus in Matthew and Luke and in Mark all has this one point where he goes, look, you see how the world leads, that they lord over those that are under their charge, but that shouldn't be with you. That the leader among you should be the servant of all.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, you see Jesus talking about, being that leader and washing feet and doing this, that, and the other, and literally taking the posture of a servant. And I think we, especially as men, this is mastering manhood. We as men have to understand that the posture that we should constantly have, if we're going to love our wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it, if we're going to serve our children and our households, it should be in a posture that is submissive. When you think about somebody washing somebody's feet, you can't do that standing up. You have to do that kneeling down on one knee or both knees. Your head is lower than the person that you're serving. There's all these parallels there that says you're not the one that's the focus, and then when you even think about Christ, what he did for the church, I mean, he sacrificed. The other posture of total surrender, hands up, I am literally on the cross, on a regular basis. And we as men have to be okay with being in that sacrificial, submissive position if we're going to be leaders, because being a leader requires the ability to have such a, what's the word I'm looking for? Such a confidence in that no matter what happens to me, I know everything's going to be okay.
Yes.
No matter what people do or don't do for me, no matter if I get a thank you, a back rub, a peach cobbler, a pecan pie, whatever's your tea here in Texas, no matter what I get in return, I'm going to be good because I'm doing what I'm anointed to do.
Absolutely. I think that when you weigh the cost of what love is, that's exactly where you're going to come to, is that if love is the ethic, love is the core of whatever you're doing as a someone who's trying to be walking in the footsteps of Christ, is that love goes, it doesn't matter the cost. Whatever it is, whatever happens to me, you know what, I'm at peace with. Yeah, maybe I'll struggle with it. Maybe I'll have that Garden of Gethsemane moment, like, hey, can this cup be taken away from me? But the whole point comes down to, that's not where I stop.
Yeah.
I keep going, and if it requires full sacrifice all the way up to and including, Hebrews talks about it, that you know none of us have currently, I'm alive, so I haven't gone as far as Christ. But you know what? He's gone. Just like we talked about, leaders will never ask of you what they haven't been willing to do or have done themselves. Christ went all the way, and most of us will not be able to go all the way, but that doesn't mean that we hold back when we get to that point.
Absolutely. And you just mentioned love. I thought about 1 Corinthians 13 for those of you guys who are out there watching this and you want to know how do I gauge myself, as a man, whether I'm walking in this love that you guys are talking about. Well, here's a few quick things in 1 Corinthians 13:4, the New Living Translation. It says, love is patient and kind. It's not jealous. It's not boastful or proud. It's not rude. It doesn't demand its own way. It's not irritable. It doesn't keep any record of being wronged. It doesn't rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. It says love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful or expectant, and endures through every circumstance. Near the end there, it says love never fails. So if you're trying to gauge your life and say, am I doing what I need to do as a man, and am I in the process of mastering manhood or maturing? Think about that. Are you being patient and kind, not jealous, not boastful, not rude? Are you demanding your own way? Are you keeping records of being done wrong? Here's a huge one. Are you irritable? Do you focus on, believing the best in what's happening in your situations in your household? Are you always hopeful? Do you endure? Love doesn't give up. Leaders, especially men of God, we should not find ourselves giving up, on situations, giving up on our marriages, giving up on our children. No, as men of God, we have faith in God. We trust in the finished works of Jesus. Even though we may not see everything working out in the natural at the moment, that's just a moment. That's why you call it a moment. It is just a sliver of time that does not equate the whole of God's plan for your life. So you have to remain in love, having faith, knowing that God has taken care of everything concerning you.